Okay, today we're going to talk about mixed factoring and how there's different situations and how you have to choose the right technique for the given situation. And so if we go through this, we can see that if we look at, we're given the problem. And so once we have the problem, the very first thing we should do, what should we do?
Always look for common factors.
Right.
It's just going to make it much easier.
Right. And once you have a common factor, it is possible that you are done. But it's also possible there might be more factoring to do. And there's 4 different types of factoring it might be. The first situation it might be a difference of squares. That's one of our factoring techniques. The next one, it could be grouping. The other one could be an ax squared plus bx plus c when a equals 1, or an ax squared plus bx plus c when a doesn't equal 1.
The tough ones.
The tough ones. And the way to differentiate between these kind is typically a difference of squares, well, always a difference of squares has 2 terms. Then you know it's going to be a difference of squares if it can factor.
Yep.
Grouping will have 4 terms. Again, if it can factor. Just because there's 4 terms doesn't mean it can factor by grouping. You may be done. These 2 situations both have 3 terms. But on this one, this value a has a number in front, whereas this value of a is simply 1. So it's just plain x squared. If it's this situation, then you ask yourself what multiplies to get c and adds to get b. If this is the situation, you list the factors of a, list the factors of c, and look for combinations. This is the hardest one. Let's try it. Let's look at some.
Okay.
Okay.
To spot what to do.
Right. So, the first one here, we have x squared plus 6x plus 3. First thing we do is we look for common factors. Any common factors?
No. Okay.
No common
because it's
factors.
1x squared, isn't it?
Right. And so there are 3 terms. So I know it's going to be
ax squared.
ax squared type.
Yep.
This is a coefficient of 1. So it's going to be an ax squared plus bx plus c, where a equals 1. We look to multiply to get 8, add to get 6. Okay, let's look at the next one. Should we actually factor it?
You want to do it? Hey, you're quick.
I am so fast.
Look at that.
Adds to get 8, or multiplies to get 8, adds to get 6. Multiply first. You times first, and you add second.
Nicely done.
Okay, looking at the next one. First thing, common factor. Any common factor here?
No. Can't see one.
All right. So then, there are 2 terms.
Difference of squares.
Difference of squares. And so I know my squares look like this. And I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to give you the answer. That's how fast I am today.
Right. Now what?
Now what? Oh my goodness.
I can see some common factors there. This is not going to be as tough as it looks.
All right. What's common?
So we've got 3. Everything divides by 3. And then b squared. Okay, so the first term, what we have to do times by, we've got 3b squared, so we'd need an extra a cubed. Yep, and then the other one is we need to times by 4, and we need to times by b. And we are done.
Okay, because this does not factor anymore. The only possible kind it could be is a difference of squares, and b is not a square, a cubed is not a square. Okay, look in here. Oh, first thing we do, common factor?
No, not for all of them.
No, this one had an a, then it would work.
Okay.
4 terms, that's a clue for us.
I think we're going to group this one.
Group it. So, grouping it, we take our first 2 terms.
Okay, so we've got, yep, a add 3.
Look at those terms.
What are you going to do, minus b?
Minus b.
And then a add 3.
Right. And now I see a add 3 as a common factor to pull out. And then I get a minus b. Grouping. All right. E. Any common factors?
Nope. This is going to be one where we have to write out
Right.
all the factors of the first and the last, right? So A is not 1, it's
A is
3.
not 1. This is the nasty one. So we look at the factors of 3, 3 and 1.
Factors
Look
of
at
2?
the factors of 2, 2 and 1.
Not too many possibilities.
No, it could be this one, where I get 3 and 2.
Yep, we can get 5 with that.
We can get 5 with that. I want it to be a positive 5, though.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ah,
That's not going to work with my signs.
nasty.
We'll try a different scenario.
Let's go straight across. So we
Yeah.
get 6 and 1. That also could be put together for 5.
Right. But I want it to be positive, so I want this to be positive and this one to be negative to get a positive 5.
Oh, a negative
So it makes
multi.
this negative and this positive then. So I get 3 t
So 3t?
and a t. The 3t gets multiplied by,
2.
and it's the positive, and then I have a negative 1. Sweet. All right, last one. Common factor?
2.
Yay, there is a common factor, so it's 2 parenthesis x squared plus 9x plus 20.
Okay, so multiply to 20 and add up to 9.
4 and 5.
Nicely done.
Okay. Good luck.